We knew they was going to be very athletic, very physical. I was proud of our guys. We talked about it for the 3 days of practice we had. We tried to simulate what they were doing. It's hard to do. We know Coach. I know Coach Strain does a good job football-wise, basketball-wise. It was a hard-fought game. You got to give them a lot of credit. They hung around for a long time. I thought we had a chance to knock them out a couple times. We never did. Their kids played hard, but we just we overcome some foul trouble out of these two. I don't know if Caden and his brother came off the floor in the third quarter. They gutted it out. And we had some guys step up. Devin Barksdale, ninth grader, Jaleek Long don't play much. Haven't played much lately. And those guys stepped up. We had a lot of guys step up and play well today. And that's what it took to win.
So, Kate, thanks for inviting to the block party. Yeah. What was that like, down there? Because they were attacking the hoop a lot, and you just got to a lot of shots.
Well, I couldn't finish to save my life, so I felt like I got to affect the game somehow. And so tonight it was blocks. They were really trying to get it inside, and my guys were playing good D to force them into me, and so it just led to a lot of blocks tonight.
And Caden or John, how much does those blocks help on defense? Like how much of a boost did they give you?
A whole lot.
He gave us a lot of boost. He really helped us out a lot with those blocks. Because without him, they would have scored a lot more points than they had.
Yeah. He just alters the game in so many ways. It doesn't show up right here. I know the blocks show up, the rebounds show up, but he just alters the game in so many ways it doesn't show up on the stat sheet. And that's me and him talked about it earlier in the year. He may not have been scoring as much as he was, but he just alters the game in so many ways that it doesn't show up. They have to account for him all the time. You'll see kids drive in the lane and think twice about going in there. And that kind of stuff doesn't show up on the stats. It shows up to me, shows up to a lot of people, but it affects the game in a whole lot of ways.
You alluded to this, but you played a month without Cade, and then with those two on the bench, you grew the lead in the fourth quarter today. Just what does that say about how this team built for what's to come?
Well, I think it was a blessing in disguise. I know Cade didn't want to be hurt, but I think it helped us team-wise. We had some guys have to grow up and play, and I think that's starting to show off right now because we had some guys that probably wouldn't have played as many minutes if Cade would have been healthy, but had to play. And I think it helped out. I didn't realize we grew the lead with them guys sitting down.
The second time.
But yeah, a lot of those guys have stepped up and played well. And I'll be honest with you, there's 14 guys on that bench, and I'm not afraid to play any of them. I know some of them don't get to play, but I wouldn't be nervous if 1 through 14 was out there.
Caden, what was that like? Twice your two best threats were on the bench, foul trouble. First time they brought it back to like 3, and then you stretched it back out, and then they went out again, and when they you stretched it, and then they came back in, and all the fun happened. How nervous, how intense was it with them not in the game, knowing there were 2 crucial points in the game you needed to maintain the lead if you wanted to get to Birmingham?
You had to keep your teammates up and then get back. That's why I did. You had to keep your teammates up and get back. Yeah.
Well, was it nervous? Was it? What was it like playing?
No, I wasn't really
you couldn't have too much.
Cade don't get nervous. That's the wrong guy.
Yeah, no.
Shane.
Yes.
With about 2 minutes left in the third quarter, it was 45, 48 or what. John been out, Cade been out. It felt like you were trying to hold out for the fourth quarter, but at that point you put it back in. What was your thought? It wasn't going to be a lead in the third quarter if you didn't get a lead?
There's no tomorrow. You just got to let them go. I knew they was going to if they foul out, they foul out, but I'm not, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down swinging. And if we're going to lose the league, we had I think we had an 8-point lead when they went out, something in that neighborhood. But, literally there's no tomorrow. You got to put them back in because, like I said, he alters the game so much. John's going to go get the ball and help us out. The thought process, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down swinging with my best players out there, and they're going to help us out tremendously. And they did.
John, did he say anything, coach say anything to you at that point?
No, they asked me to go back in. They were begging me. It was like they were pulling on me, Coach, can we go back in? Can we go back in? And I just thought, at that point, we needed them back in.
Hey, Coach, when Rondé got his 4th foul, went to the bench, did you alter your game plan any? Because he's really the only legitimate big guy they have.
Well, we tried a couple times in the first half when he went down. It looked like he was limping a little bit. But we didn't really alter our game plan. We talked a little bit about him being tired. It looked like he was tired, and tried to get the ball down low or at least attack the rim. But I mean, no, we didn't specifically talk about anything other than that. He looked tired.
Will the guys address this? When this team got put together, and when you arrived, this was what was on the radar. It was built kind of to do this and to get to Birmingham to go further. Now that you have gotten there, I know the job is not done, but are you continuing on the road to destiny? And what's it mean to win this to get to Birmingham? Now that you all are together, and would all three talk about that?
Well, I mean, credit to Coach Morrow. His first day in, he walked into the locker room and wrote on the board. He said, why not us? He addressed the elephant in the room as soon as we came in. And that was something we kind of embraced, that we were gonna have a target. And so even when we were in our kind of down periods at the beginning of the year, he was like, guys, we have a bigger goal at hand. And it stayed on the board. Why not us? And so, since the very beginning, we've kind of embraced that challenge, that's the expectation, and that's okay. That's okay to go get it. Like, what's wrong with going to get it? And so that's kind of how we've embraced it.
Both of you
I said the same thing. Same thing.
Are you fulfilling destiny? I mean, is this just another bump, to get into the cheese and next week?
Survive in advance. It's like a March Madness, man.
Yeah, but
right
you're
now.
supposed to be doing this. I mean, your expectations were to win it out.
Yeah.
And now that you're close to doing that, what are you feeling like? John?
I mean, we knew the expectations were going to be pretty high on us when we came in, but like Coach Morrow said, just why not us? And we just kept going hard. All the practices, we still go hard till this day. Till this day. And continue on, but I mean, hey, we just going to keep moving on forward and survive in advance.
I know you guys still have school, technically, but are you guys going to try making some...
Just keep asking questions about it.
Are you guys going to try making out to the other semifinal or the Southeast final to see, who wins that one? Or
No, I know it's Booker T. Washington and St. James. I think they've already beat them like 3 times already. I've looked ahead, but one game at a time. I'm not going to travel down there. There's enough technology that we'll be able to see them.
Well, you get a road trip out of it.
No.
Go ahead.
you can miss another day of school.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll be all right.
Kate's like signing up.
Sure. I'll take it.
Sean, in that late third quarter, after you came in, you got 2 free throws, then you had the layup, then you had 2 more free throws. 6-point run. Were you aware of that? Did you have a sense that it's time for me to do something because we're about to lose this basketball game in the third quarter?
When you both went back in, you blocked the shot. He got 2 foul shots. He made 11. He made 6 points in a row. So you had an immediate impact when you went back into the game.
Do you feel like you had to take over?
Did you have to do that?
Oh, I was just playing. I didn't feel like I had to take over. We're a team here.
Yeah. We all know he can score in bunches. Y'all seen it. Y'all seen it. So, I mean, that's a normal little stretch for him. 6 points.
That was a really big time to score a bunch. I mean, it went from 3 to 9.
Quick, believe so. But yeah.
Yeah. Coach, I got a question for you. Playing a team like Handley is a huge positive from a physicality standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
Legit football players that love to bang.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're about to face. Talk about that opportunity to get to face them right before you go down to Birmingham.
Well, we talked about it, and we made up some drills to try to address it. And it's one of those things that, it's hard to simulate that in practice. We played some physical teams. Like I said, I told the guys, I really feel like we don't beat Westminster without going to Huntsville. I really think turning point in our season, even though our record was 1-2 at Huntsville, but playing Hazel Green, who got beat in the second round, playing Spanish Ford, who's playing today or tomorrow to go to the Final Four and 6A. I mean, playing those top teams, Madison Academy, really helped us prepare for this kind of atmosphere, this kind of just everything. And I really, we tried to play some, plain views of the world, but they're not as physical as those. But we tried to up our schedule a little bit, and we got it and got the job. And I really think that helped us a lot because it's hard to simulate that kind of stuff in practice. I mean, you can't simulate those big physical kind of guys and stuff like that. But I think they're getting used to it and better. We're not quite as big in the weight room as they are.
Our Plainview game was a track meet.
It was a little bit, and that's a credit to our team because early in the year, we was running everybody and running people out of the gym, and we still do that early on. But then when the game slows down, we can grind it out with people too. And early on, we struggled with that half court. And I told our guys, we worked and worked and worked, and it's a credit to these guys for putting in the work to address that, because we knew that was one of our shortcums. We knew we could run with anybody. It's the whole, what happens when everybody tries to slow us down, grind it out, what can we do? And to their credit, we've survived in advance so far.
What drills?
Oh, we just made up, I just literally made up stuff, just grabbing, holding. I told the guys on defense.
Oklahoma drill.
Yeah.
Oklahoma drill.
We just had guys just, we get the ball at the top, and we had a guy at the top grabbing jerseys, and we had a guy at the bottom with a big pad knocking us, and just anything I could think of just to try to simulate the physical, the grabbing, the holding aspect that we knew was coming.
More people in here today. Why?
Sir?
More people in here today. Why?
Oh. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I was here for the last.
Cannon Cows, I know you was, and Rondé right here. I just think the main part of the game had to do with their length, their athleticism. I think that their experience, they're probably just a better basketball team, period. We had to play physical. We had to get up and down the floor with them. There's no way that we could have took the ball game and tried to slow the ball game down, to be honest with you, to have a chance. So that's what our game plan was.
I mean, for the players and coach, you got someone like Kate Phillips who had 11 blocks, but obviously the goal was to get inside. Did you guys have to change that up at all, or?
Well, I really don't need to answer that question right there now. You got to take it to him. You ain't got no other choice. Oh, Mr. Al, you gonna write about the fictional extra 2 points when you come in? Is that what you're gonna do?
I found them all today.
You found them all today?
I found them all today.
And it wasn't nobody's fault last time.
You're right.
If the other people's bookkeeper would stay there, then it wouldn't be no problem. Told you how it was going to be.
You play too fast.
The only choice that we had was to take it to them. I mean, their overall length was bigger than what, every one of my kids except for Rondé on the floor. So what do? You especially, the way they play defense to start with, so they want to speed the game up. They want to come out and get you. Then they got the kid in there sitting at 6'8", 6'9", sitting in the middle to defend the basket. So what other choice do you have? You got to go attack it. And look, we had 9 seniors last year. Basically, what it boils down to, young kids. How many kids played on the varsity last year? 2. 2 that played on the varsity team last year. I can be proud of what our kids did. We knew what we had to do coming in. We knew it was going to be a tough game. What it is.
Coach, like you said, you went in and attacked them, and it actually worked. I mean, you only had 16 minutes. But in the process, Rondé got in foul trouble, which kind of altered what you guys want to do.
The biggest issue with us today was when Rondé got in foul trouble. Every time I take Rondé out early in the season, we'd have 5 guards in there, and everybody stayed outside the 3-point line. And so, that was a big, huge factor. We got in foul trouble early in the first half. That's something that we couldn't do. It has to do with defending their size, obviously. If you go back to the foul count, period, and it's because they play above the rim where we probably play a little bit more below the rim than what they do. So then the fouls are called on the floor, but none of the fouls were called in the air, basically, in my opinion. And so that was, look, that's not knocking Jacksonville or the officials or anybody. That's not what I'm saying. That's just the way the game's played to some degree. They're able to play above the rim more than what we're able to play above the rim. And so therefore, a lot of those blocks that you said that he had was a foul. I'm not saying the officials didn't call. That's not what I'm saying. But that's the way the game's played.
I got one more real important question I'd like to ask you. You and I talked earlier this season. You kind of just took this job because of circumstances, and you even said and your assistant coach even said he's like, man, if you'd have told us we'd be here in the regional finals with a shot to go to play for the Final Four, I'd probably thought you was crazy at first. But just talk about how the growth of this team, how you brought these guys together, these guys have bought in to get you to this point.
Well, I really don't know how many of these kids, they probably wanted to bail on me early during the season, to be honest with you, because I'm probably not the sweetest, kindest person. And as you can tell by this interview, I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you the way I see it. You may not like it. You may not like it. And you may disagree with me. But I'll tell you the truth, the way that I see it. Now look, sure, do I live through rose-colored glasses? Sure I do sometimes. But who doesn't? To some degree. Our kids early on, they had a couple of issues, simply because how do we want to practice this hard? We're not accustomed to practicing this hard. And I'm not knocking my guys, but we literally had to go back and how to teach, did we not? How to teach to do the pick and roll, did we not? How to defend the pick and roll. That's something that I should not have to do on the varsity level to get us to have an opportunity to where we're at now. And of course, there's other things. And that's the reason why I think that a lot of it eliminated the things that we are capable of doing. I couldn't put in very sophisticated offensive schemes right now. I couldn't get into, the issue that we really had was we didn't shoot the ball well from the floor, especially in the half court. And so people that played us zone most of the year, I had to work on teams that played us zone, because everybody that played us other than they pretty much matched up and played us zone, because they knew we had a hard time struggling. And so, but I think our kids have really came light years. I think that the kids, like you said, bought in. They worked hard at what they did, and they gave us a chance. And they gave us a chance because of their heart and their hustle, to be honest with you.
Is building on this a challenge you'd like to continue?
I never say no. Never say no. But, last time, which it was 14 last time I coached basketball. We was fortunate enough to win the state championship then with girls. And I had mixed emotions about taking the job to start with, which I think my administration really didn't actively seek anybody else. Because one, there's a teacher shortage, not necessarily that they knew that they could hire somebody else to teach something else or do something else instead of hiring a basketball coach. They always felt like they had an out. But that's something I'll just have to think about down the road. I love the kids' effort, and I love the kids. I would like to have these kids during the summertime and work hard during the summertime and see what we can do.
Coach, going back to the game, you start out, they scored the first 9 points of the game. I'm sure their crowd is feeding on that as well. How do you settle your guys down and get back into the ball? Well,
I know everybody in the gym probably was wondering why I didn't call a timeout. And now I'm sitting there thinking about calling a timeout. And the whole key was, in the process of the whole game was, coming into the game, I thought, if it gets 10 or 11, because look, I knew they were a very explosive team. And I felt like we had to stick around to make a strong run at the end. The truth is, my depth on my bench was not deep as I would like to do what we would like to have done, and it had to do with fatigue, obviously, during the game. I debated whether to call that timeout, but I knew that it was going to be onside. The last thing I told them before they left the bench, don't let the tempo of the game and don't let their length surprise you when you come out there. And of course, they may agree and say, yes, I'm expecting that, but they don't until they come play.
But it was kind of like that all game. They would get ahead of you 8, 9, 10, and then you
would make a run.
What do you attribute that to?
Well, I think it just goes back to the competitors that our kids are. They compete, and all my guys are football players, and so what I mean by that is they all play football and they know how to compete on the football field, and then they just change sports and they turn that competitiveness over to the basketball court side.
Just looking at the numbers, one that jumps out, Coach, I know this will drive you nuts. 27 turnovers for y'all. They got a lot of points off of those. Just the ability to hang on to the ball, take care of the basketball. How much did that hurt you?
Well, that's been an issue of ours all year long. Not knocking any of our kids, but really had to make a point guard during the course of the season. But then again, how do you prepare, for a broom, for 2, 3, all to be as long and athletic and play more basketball than us when they pressure you the whole ball game. And so, that's been an issue. Turnover's been an issue all season long for us.
Larry,
with about just a little less than 2 minutes left in the third quarter, y'all were within 3.
how did you get there and what happened afterwards?
One of the Phillips kid picked up his, third or fourth foul. Broom did too. Is that right? I think during that time, both of them had to go out. During that time, which I was battling foul situation with our kids as well. And then at that moment, I was trying to get them to play, we call it man full court man to man, just chaos. We felt like that, and I'm not meaning this bad in any way, we had to ugly the game up or we had to bloody the game up. And I don't mean to intentionally hurt nobody, ain't what I'm saying. But I felt like we had to be more physical. It's the only opportunity, it's the only chance that we had. And that was kind of the stretch that we got started and to make a run. And we had still had air in our lungs because really about 6 deep is what you, and as long as I had those 6 deep on the court, we had a chance, but you got to rest them at some point. Then it begins to get away from you.
For the players, what does it mean to be, to get here? What does that mean this year for you, to be able to get here in a situation no one probably expected you guys to be in?
You don't answer that first. You don't hear
it.
I was just glad we got here, man. Like, it just, I don't know, like, I'm glad that we got here. Like, it ain't nothing.
We worked hard.
We worked hard to get what was it
from coach moving to another school, we worked really hard. And for us to get here, everybody doubted us, man. For us to get here was an achievement. So.
You even doubted me coming in, didn't you, Ryan?
I low-key scared of you, though. I was like, it's going to be just like football.
It's a good thing.
Good. But I was just glad that we got where we was at, though. That'd be a thing.
I know we had a couple people quit, but
because they didn't want to do it the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
That's what made it grow, right?
Yeah, that's what made it grow.
Once we started playing, our coach taught us how to play, we got better.
All the nonsense they left our team. You see how we got better when they left? You know what I'm saying? All that they were bringing to the team, we didn't need that. But
well, we were real selfish early on in the early games.
Everybody was selfish.
Everybody was selfish.
When you get used to winning in football, does it make it easier to win in basketball?
Winning and winning, I mean. It's just, I don't we can win both. We just gotta put it we gotta put it together.
Put more work.
Yeah, you just gotta work harder than what we did.
The one thing that you can say about Cannon cannot stand to mess up. He's a true competitor. There ain't nobody gonna get on Cannon harder than he's gonna get on himself. Whether it's on the football field or on the basketball.